The fact that Phil Collins is back in the public eye shows how important he has been. People used to hate Phil Collins more than any other musician or songwriter, but now they say he's the foundation of modern society or something. Not only as a pop star who topped the charts, but also as a drummer who has loved playing for a long time. Many younger people today are rediscovering him, coming across his career like it were a lost gem, without the commercialism and pop gloss that surrounded him at the height of his fame. Collins is still at his core the same person, a drummer who has a lot of respect for the artists who broke rules and made drumming an art form. Collins may have become Genesis's lead singer after Peter Gabriel left in the mid-1970s, but don't get the wrong idea, he's always seen himself as a drummer first and a singer second. In the 1980s his voice became a household word, but he has said many times that being in the spotlight has never felt as comfortable to him as being behind the drum kit. The way Collins treats the drummers who came before him shows a lot about the kind of artist he has always wanted to be. Soul, skill and craft, all in one that you can feel in every beat he plays. Collins says that Ringo Starr of the Beatles was the first drummer who influenced the way he plays. Collins, like many other artists, saw the Beatles as a way to be more creative and try new things. Others thought that John Lennon's lyrics or Paul McCartney's melodies were what drove them. But Collins saw Starr's unique way of handling rhythm as the most important thing. Collins thought Ringo was the most talented of the Beatles, even though many people thought he was the least skilled. He was the unsung star behind many famous songs. With a simple but creative style, he kept the Beatles' sound stable. Collins talks about songs like Tomorrow Never Knows, where Ringo's drumming creates a hypnotic effect, and A Day in the Life, where the background noise creates a lively, almost cinematic scene. Collins saw something that not many others did. Ringo's drumming gave pop music a level of depth and subtlety that is still felt today. Collins has been influenced by Ringo since he was a child, when he played rhythms on household things before he had a real drum kit. Hearing Ringo play made him realize that the drums could be just as important to a song as a guitar riff. This feeling of wonder stayed with him and shaped his work with Genesis and as a solo artist. Collins likes Ringo not only because he is skilled, but also because he has made rock music more interesting. Somehow Ringo made the backbeat cool, like something to pay attention to. Collins has been a supporter of the rhythm section for decades, so this change was a big deal for him. Ringo is a great drummer, wonderful drummer. He also got a lot of stick, you know. In the 1970s, for example, Buddy Rich was saying that Ringo couldn't play and everyone thought it was easy, but it wasn't. You can hear this in the drum fills of Strawberry Fields Forever, A Day in the Life and Rain. Okay, so what he did is just crazy, right? He never did anything that you would normally do. You know? He would just play, even though it's not normally something a drummer would do. You should know that I have a lot of respect for him as a duo because he was very difficult and had tricky feels. Keith Moon of The Who is a tornado of reckless energy and unrestrained creation, very different from Ringo's quiet style. Moon was famous for doing crazy things to hurt himself, like destroying hotel rooms, putting bombs in toilets and setting his drum kit on fire on stage. Collins, however, thinks that Moon's real brilliance is not in the crazy things he does off stage, but in the way he pushes the limits of what is possible when it comes to drums. Collins had a great time seeing Moon play live with his headphones taped to his head while he slammed on the drums with all his might. It was like watching lightning hit to watch Moon play. It was completely unpredictable and mesmerizing. Some might say Moon's style is random or even chaotic, but Collins sees a way for it all to work. Collins has always found it exciting that Moon's drumming has a kind of wild intelligence and doesn't follow the rules. Moon would smash beats instead of building them like other drummers do. His fills didn't just add points to a song, they changed it completely, turning even the most basic beats into fast-paced pulsing lifeblood. There was no skill involved in this drumming. It was just reflex. Collins has always been interested in the idea of drumming as a deeply emotional experience. Moon's impact on Collins was nothing short of freeing. Then there's John Bonham, the bassist for Led Zeppelin and the standard of rock drums. Bonham's way of playing the drums was a physical force and a sound machine that few people have tried to copy. Collins remembers that when he saw Bonham he was so focused that it was almost like the drums were an extension of Bonham's being. Bonham added a new level of power to rock music with his iron-fisted bass drum. He made the kit into a weapon as well as an instrument. Collins praised both Bonham's rhythmic ferocity and his skill. Bonham wasn't just loud, he was also very accurate. Zeppelin made sound walls that were so thick that his fills could cut through them. Collins was influenced by Bonham, especially in Genesis's early songs, where Collins's drumming has the same powerful drive. Bonham taught him that playing the drums was more than just keeping time. It had to be shaped and curved to fit the music. Collins has said that after watching Bonham play he realized that the bass drum could be an important part of a song. He then put this idea into practice with great determination. It was Bonham's impact as a master of rock percussion that Collins's style became known for, that booming full-bodied sound. That's the house where they recorded When the Levee Breaks. I don't know what album it was on, but it was recorded in the hallway by Eddie Grange, and that version of the song is famous in the drum circles. Bonham and Moon were rock's raw energy, and Buddy Rich was its polished jazz-influenced technique. Collins grew up liking both rock and big band jazz. He saw Rich as a kind of percussion high priest. Rich was so good at technology that it almost seemed magical. Rich was a natural drummer who learned on his own. He started playing before he could walk and changed what it meant to be a drummer. I told them I didn't think I could do it. I feel like I can't play in the big band. I do not want to make them or myself look bad. Finally, it was 1996. I did play with my big band for the first time. Why did people say that? I told them that Buddy and Count Basie, along with other musicians like them, had a big impact on me in the 1960s when I was really open to all kinds of music. Collins first heard Rich's work through his West Side Story medley, which was an amazing display of technical skill that blew Collins away. Rich could play very quickly without losing the sharpness of his sound. Every roll is smooth and every beat is exact. Collins has called Rich the best drummer of all time, which is not an easy thing for him to say. Collins thinks that Rich is the most dedicated and passionate drummer ever. He has a level of skill and dedication that not many drummers could hope to match. Collins learned a lot from Rich, which you can see in the way he plays the drums, especially when he was in a big band in the late 1990s. Collins had so much respect for Rich that he wanted to bring the same level of skill to rock, which was not an easy thing to do. He learned from Rich that even the fastest and most complicated rhythms should sound easy. But not all of Collins's heroes were rock gods or virtuosos. Collins has a lot of respect for Charlie Watts of the Rolling Stones. Watts is the quiet center of the Stones' wild machine. Watts' way of thinking was the exact opposite of excess. His style was slow, precise, and had a calmness that was almost zen-like that kept the Stones' loud sound steady. Over time, Collins and Watts became friends. Collins liked Watts' ability to add subtlety to rock music, which isn't often found in a style that's all about big hits. Watts' drumming isn't meant to be the star, it's meant to back the song and let it breathe. Collins thought Watts' style taught him to be humble and that taking a step back is sometimes the best thing a drummer can do. Then there's the story of Phil Collins' son Nick Collins, who took over playing the drums when Collins' health got worse. Nick, who was only 21 years old, handled the task with a level of maturity that surprised everyone. Collins has said many times that seeing his son walk across the stage was both happy and sad. It was the start of a new era, and the end of an old one. Nick's ability to catch the essence of his dad's drumming was both a comfort and a huge source of pride for Phil. Collins had played the same songs for decades, but Nick gave them a new energy. This showed that Nick loved playing the drums and maybe even had a little of that famous Collins sound in him. It's also interesting that Collins admired Chester Thompson, the drummer he gave the Genesis drum kit to when he took on lead singing. Just how did you connect with Chester? Tell us about it. He should come on and play live on your songs. He came over and the first day we met him was the first day of practice. I mean, I have to think about what might have happened if we didn't like him or if he didn't like us. Thompson's background in jazz and his work with Frank Zappa's strange off-kilter music made him a perfect fit for Genesis's progressive rock sound. Collins remembers how quickly they clicked with each other, almost like a psychic link that let Thompson slip into Genesis like he had always been there. Thompson was an important part of the band's live shows. He let Collins leave the drum kit without losing the complex beats that made Genesis's sound unique. Finally, we have Steve Gadd. He was a session star and a master of jazz rock fusion. Every beat he played had a sophisticated sound to it. Collins places a lot of value on adaptability and versatility, which can be seen in Gadd's work. Collins has often said nice things about Gadd's drumming on Steely Dan's Age Up, noticing how complicated the fills were and how easy it was for him to make the track move. Collins learned how to play and make the drums feel alive from Gad's style. There are hints of Gad's impact in the more experimental parts of Genesis. This is a small nod to the session legend who showed Collins that drums could be both difficult and easy to play. These drummers do more than play music. They tell stories and see the future, and each brings something unique to the world of music. They taught him more than just how to play the drums. It was its own form of art and language. Collins's own style is a unique mix of rock's power, jazz's complexity, and an unwavering desire to stay ahead of the curve. Even though he's famous in ways that most drummers could never dream, he's still a drummer at heart, with a deep love and respect for the art form and a debt to the greats who came before him.